2TC is an achievement in Balloons Tower Defense 6. We need to complete a chimps game using just 2 towers. Today we're going to be doing this with the Icicle Impale and the Apache Prime. We're doing this on Resort because this is probably the most friendly map in order to place down an ice tower and be able to get far with an ice tower. We're going to purchase permafrost and larger radius, and then we'll get the helicopter down as soon as we can, just because we need that additional range and we need the balloons to be slowed down by the permafrost, just so that this is more chance at popping balloons. Round 10 cleared up. Yellow balloons, no thank you. Hopefully that green one will be popped. Yes it does. Yellow balloons again, no thank you. Get popped, please. Please. Oh, thank goodness it's just about to do that. Otherwise I have to wait a long time for it to crawl around the track. Hope to put the heli down by next round. Otherwise with pink balloons might be a bit of a problem here. But we should have the money for it. Yellow balloons get slowed down. Green balloon. And that should do it. So we're going to put you over here just so that you have a chance of popping balloons. Otherwise your sharp projectiles versus the frozen balloons around the ice tower are not going to do very much. But we definitely need you for white balloons. Get you up to IFR so that you can pop camo white balloons. I know people say that it is possible for the ice tower to do camo white solo, but no one's really explained to me as to how to do that. I know it probably involves around not having enough damage down in order to pop every single balloon, but at the same time it's be able to control how much power you need, and then along there having some surviving balloons so that like the ice shards and the embrittlement is able to take into effect against non-whites, and then for those non-whites to be able to damage white balloons using the shards from the ice shard from their destroyment. Destroyment is not even a word. From their demise. You know what I meant. Okay, white balloons, no thank you. And cold snap so that we're able to affect lead balloons and camo balloons refreeze as well. As of the time of this recording, we are 500 to 600 subscribers away from 10,000. So if you could do me a wonderful favor, if you're enjoying the video so far and you're enjoying the kind of content that you're saying, then please consider clicking that subscribe button for more content like this in your sub box in the future. Lead balloons, no worries, we have the cold snap. We'll put you on pursuit, but then we'll put you back into lock in place. Sorry, by pursuit, put you back onto lock in place, just so that we do we've got a chance of popping when they're not frozen around here. Me and my English. Razor rotors. Now we can afford to put you over here because your razor rotors has the normal damage type. Is able to rip up balloons upon contact, including lead and frozen balloons, which is very, very handy. In update 44, the icicles have been given some bonus Moab class damage, even more so. So it's been given another 6 Moab damage. So I think we could actually get up to Icicle Impale before we can get Apache Dart Ship. What about that? So the upgrade, I think, already did bonus damage, if I remember correctly, but this now does even more bonus damage. Or maybe I'm remembering stuff that didn't even exist, and it just had the second part, or the second sentence of this description. Either way, I am very happy with the bonus Moab damage. Ceramics, no problem, round 39. Oh dearie me, there's white balloons, zebra balloons, rainbow balloons that goes down to zebra balloons. Should not be a problem. And we're actually gonna put you on pursuit from now on. I feel like it's now time to do the damage against you. And hopefully it'll go down. Yeah, it'll go down. I think rounds with multiple Moabs before we get Icicle Impale might be an issue, but the 40s is gonna be free. I mentioned a few videos ago, as of the time of this recording, that I now have hearing aids regarding my hearing, and I've got to be honest, I do notice my tinnitus even more now just because of the fact that I do have the hearing aids. Maybe it doesn't affect everybody like that, but I do notice a noticeable increase in the ringing slash hissing noise that my tinnitus is making. Quite recently, there's been a treatment, well, not a 100% treatment for tinnitus, but it's called bimodal neuromodulation, which I think is something that is only in the United States, so unlucky me, being in the UK. But I also heard it's in Ireland as well. I think it might be. I'm not too sure, but I heard it's really expensive and it's really few when it comes to numbers, when it comes to this sort of treatment. But another thing that could work, which I might resort in the near future, is sound therapy. White noise machine just makes tinnitus even louder. Hearing aids does help with my hearing, but then when it comes to close-up noise, it does make my hearing almost kind of like a blur in a way, whereas somebody's trying to talk to me or I'm trying to like speak out loud, and my voice, other people's voices, just sounds like a blur rather than being coherent. But if somebody's talking to me quite far away, I'm actually able to understand what they're saying. So you give some, but you also lose some as well. Sorry, get some, but then you lose some. And because of this continuous tinnitus throughout 2024, it sort of really dampened my mood a lot of the time. So there are going to be days where I don't record something, I don't upload something, just because I feel like I'm just letting everybody else down when it comes to that sort of thing. It's like, I would rather step on Lego than record a video today. It's not because I don't like recording, but it's just the fact that I'd rather do anything else other than record. And it feels like if I put a dampened mood down, then I notice that people will notice and that people will see the whole scenario as a negative thing. There's a difference between like being entirely negative and being constructive in your comments, or not comments, but your subject of conversation. And sometimes I can kind of lean towards that more negative rather than, you know, they've got a good point when they're trying to talk and all that jazz. But sometimes I just feel like I'm just not really up to it. I'd rather just have a day off, do whatever it is I want to do. Like recently I discovered a fan game of Pokemon called Infinite Fusion. And while the idea of like fusing two different Pokemon is kind of like a concept which we would probably never ever kind of morally or ethically do in the real world, trying to fuse two things together, because it's like you're combining two lives into one thing, or both lives are in like a I don't know, they're in a sharing state, but then again that could have some catastrophic consequences, kind of like with multiple personality disorders, where you have two conflicting or two different personalities clashing with one another. And that is, I think it's really hard for the brain as well to try and have on board. Anyways, me and my rumbling. Round 63, goodness sake, ceramics, but luckily the Icicle Impale is doing the job. I actually think this is my first video of a two-tower chimp scenario covering the Icicle Impale. Like I've done multiple videos on the special, the Super Brittle and the Absolute Zero, but not one on the bottom part of Ice Tower. I haven't done one on Chockbox, and sometimes I don't feel like physically alone, but I do feel mentally alone with my own problems, because I'm not a person who hugely likes to share things, just because I feel like my problems are not as important as other people's problems. Like I feel like other people's problems are much more of a precedence than my problems, just because I have quite a low self-esteem of myself, and that is something that I really do need to work with and not have it continuously strain my life, or try and work on myself so that I don't have low self-esteem. But I've always kind of had that sort of thing throughout my entire life, where I feel like if somebody wants to have a conversation about me, I would rather talk about anything else, just because I don't find myself to be a particularly interesting person. Like for others, they probably find me an interesting person, but I don't find myself as an interesting person. I think in our own lives, the most difficult person to try and deal with is not your neighbor, not your family member, not your friend, not from other co-workers, but yourself. You are your own most difficult person, and you are also your own most critical critique. Anyways, the Apache Dart ship. what special things can I say about this flying behemoth? Well, it is quite a powerful upgrade. So, let me tell you something about the Apache dart ship. It has three different damage types. The darts it fires out are the sharp damage type, so therefore they cannot affect frozen balloons. The missiles have the explosive damage type, so therefore they are unable to damage like DDTs. The same with the darts. Sharp and explosive cannot damage DDTs because of having both the black property and the lead property. And the razor rotors are the normal damage type. Now when it comes to the Apache Prime, which is the next upgrade, it has 4 different damage types. The darts are replaced by lasers. I forgot about the bullets that it fires out from the dart ship. I think that's also the sharp damage type. With the Prime version, however, the front bullets are replaced with plasma bullets, and that can damage DDTs, but it can't damage purple bullets. So, in a way, the Apache dart ship is better against purples than the Apache Prime, because it relies on its explosives and its rotors to be able to damage purples, but with the Apache dart ship, any of its projectiles can damage purples, whereas 2 of the form, the Apache Prime, cannot damage purples. It has the energies, which replaces the darts. It has the plasma, which replaces the bullet gun at the front. The razor rotors does exactly the same, and the explosive missiles does exactly the same. By the way, there's a really clean round 76. And what I really liked about the Middle Path Buccaneer is that it used to have 3 different forms of attacks. It had the dart, it has the hotshot grapes, and it has the explosive cannons. Whereas I think in a few updates ago, Ninja Curious changed the Middle Path Buccaneer so that it no longer has the darts when you get to cannon ship, which is honestly a bit of a nerf towards it, because it has different kind of damage types to deal with a particular kind of target. And now it can only use its explosive cannons to be able to deal damage to purples, whereas the straight line darts, you can always rely on its pierce in order to try and get the job done. Whereas in some cases now, it feels like the Middle Path Buccaneer, if it's, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I don't feel like at times it's a very reliable purple popper, just because its hot shots keep getting blocked by purples. Anyways, round 79, fortified BF Braze. But the one benefit of all of the Apache Prime's damage types is that they can all damage frozen balloons, so you won't hear that ticking noise every time a sharp projectile tries to land onto a frozen balloon. ZOMG in its turtle form. Right, round 81, for goodness sakes, where we're going to go with the Super Ceramics. Luckily, the Icicle Impale, which I kept used to call the Icicle Impalement, can hold off some ceramics, but not all of them. Especially like on rounds 98, when the amount of them is just absurd. And sometimes at times you just want to target the strongest most balloon, just so that you're able to keep like the most amount of RB in place. Also, a fun fact about this particular 2-tower chimps is that with these two, this is the only map in which this combination has been done on. Balance is too short of a map to be able to get enough DPS down, and other maps just do not have the layout in order to make the ice tower work. The other exceptions would be is that you start out with a different tower and then work your way up to the longer range of the bottom path ice tower, just so that once you get cryo cannon, you're able to then use cryo cannon to your advantage. Apache Prime is now with us. So what is going to be our round that might stop us from being able to progress? I presume it could be round 95, but I'm definitely feeling round 98. So that's definitely going to be a round which I may need to switch to follow mouse. I feel like you're going to melt yourself if you're going to lick your lips there, dear ice monkey. Round 89, done and dusted. Round 90, our first encounter of DDTs of the day. Do you know what would make DDTs even more powerful? is that they get the purple property to them as well. So it's like, the only way you could damage a DDT is with the normal damage type, which means it doesn't have any resistances. Or even like the acid damage type, which is the same as normal. Like, why have two damage types that has exactly the same strengths and weaknesses? I think it's just how it comes out. So like acid, it has DPS over time, such as like the alchemist and the glue gunner with corrosive glue or super glue, because super glue does damage. I'm on round 92, and I honestly think I'm going to play the rest of this on follow mouse. I want to have control over its razor rotors because it's plasma, and the razor rotors are the only things that can damage DDTs. I'd rather have the razor rotors over this entire box rather than trying to fiddle around with it. Round 93, done and dusted. Okay, round 94, a bunch of BFBs and ZUMGs to deal with, and then round 98 is going to be a similar story, but with fortified BFBs and obviously super fortified ceramics rather than just super ceramics. Let's see, round 95 is going to appear very, very soon, and where we are right now, if we keep it here, obviously our projectile is going to be blocked. So I'm going to have you over here just so that the razor rotors are always popping the purples and the leads, so that our other projectiles doesn't really have as much trouble. So round 95, stalling the DTs so that our razor rotors and plasma barrel can do enough damage for DTs, and that was really clean. That was a super clean round 95. The only reason why this particular combination doesn't work on other maps, like I said earlier, is just because of trying to place down the heli, because of how weak the ice tower is on maps which doesn't have a very small amount of space in which it can fully utilize. Round 96, just the ZOMGs left, store them in place. And that is the round there, round 97. I'm going to put you on first, actually, just because of the fact that I need to kind of control the frontmost balloons here. Round 98 is definitely going to be a kick in the teeth, just because of all the targets we need to deal with. ZOMGs in their fortified state, not a worry whatsoever. We can control the speed of the balloons themselves. That gives you much more control over the DPS and where they're going, rather than as opposed to having no speed control, and from there relying entirely on DPS rather than DPS and a form of slowdown. Round 98, keep the razor rotors overhead here, and okay, I'm going to move you over here just so that you're able to clear up ceramics. Clear up ceramics. Come on, need to clear up. Oh my god, some of them are trying to escape over there. This could be very, very, very close. Oh my gosh, that is stupidly close. It's these ceramics which are the problem, honestly. It's not the Moabs, it's the ceramics. It's the little ones on the inside of these Moabs which are the biggest problem at times. And then other times it is down to Moabs which are the problem. So I may need to cycle this between the two spots just so that we have some means of dealing damage to everything. That's just so many ceramics. I think that's all of the fortified ones done. Yes, that's the one. That's one. Cycling through the two spots was really good. Round 99. Fortified DDTs. Those are Dunzos. Okay, I'm going to have you over this one over here. And there we go. Round 100 bad. Yeah, just have the prime over the bad, just so that rotors also deals damage, whereas if you have it down here, then obviously the rotors won't do damage. And any moment now, hopefully the bad will be popped. Oh crap, look at the DDTs. You're set on first. How the hell could you let that? Oh, thank goodness for that. I just hate the fact that this thing is on first and it didn't even damage the DDTs. Maybe it was because they were too quick. So, deal with this. We'll deal with everything, actually. Deal with it all. Be stupid if that black balloon somehow escaped through our defenses. So there we go, everyone. That is the Icicle Impale and Apache Prime 2 Tower Chimps. I think out of all of them, the Icicle Impale has the most amount. I know Absolute Zero has the least amount. But when it comes to OG compilations, Icicle Impale has 21, and super brittle has 19. Okay, so this screen does have the most amount out of the ice towers. Actually, let me just search absolute zero. No, it only has 9. Okay. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments section below. And one thing I found really weird recently is that I was just going to go to view browser and look at the some of my challenges that I've done, and they're like, no name. So why is that the case? Well, just because of this case here, which I may do a video in the future, because you put Sky Shredder in, it has the words KYS, which you can work out what that means. So yeah, that's probably what it was. And then another one I did was the XXXL trap with balloon incineration, which also comes up as no name. So it probably doesn't like the word trap in the name of the video, of the challenge as well, which is honestly bizarre. It's like, it's not directly saying it, but it kind of is at the same time, unfortunately. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Please use my creator support code whenever you are shopping in the stores of any kind. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves.